Untap Upkeep, and welcome to the channel. If you've been here before, if you haven't, then welcome to the channel. Please sit down, sit back, and enjoy the wonderful video we've got set here for you. So for today's video, we are actually going to take a look at the new set that's going to drop here February 14th called Aetherdrift and find out some of the goodies that lurk within. So there's multiple ways to do this. There's, of course, Facebook. There's just Google on the internet. There's content creators, all sorts of different little things like that. So for this one, we're just going to simply go to actuallywizardsofthecoast.com. We're going to go over here to products and click down here to Aetherdrift. As you can see, Aetherdrift is some kind of like Mad Max setting, kind of a different way to go for a magic set. I'm not sure how we're gonna do this, but we'll find out how it goes. So, ooh, wow, that's that's cool. I didn't know that actually did that. So one of the first things we see here is a new card called the Aetherspark, and apparently this is a Planeswalker equipment, and it costs 4 to play. It comes into play with 4 loyalty counters, and it reads the following: as the Aetherspark As long as the Aetherspark is attached to a creature, the Aetherspark can't be attacked and has whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to during your turn, put that many loyalty counters on the Aetherspark. So what this is essentially going to say is we attach this to, I don't know, Big Dumb Eldrazi, Big Dumb Dragon. I mean, take your pick of any kind of creature. Punch through, and if it's like a 7 power, we add 7 loyalty counters to this thing. That's that's a little nuts. Like, sir? What? And it gets worse. So for a +1 on this thing, so it will go up to 5 loyalty counter. You may attach it up to 1 target creature you control and put a 1/1 counter on that creature. I want to know. I want to know that this is just going to be bad. You already know this is going to be bad. I know it's going to be bad. But an important thing that this card actually says is it says up to. So even if you just got a board wipe and this thing somehow did not get touched, you're able to still +1 this thing. And if you put it on like a Llanowar elf, well, now your elf is a 2/2. That's probably not going to hurt nothing. But, maybe after a board wipe, I mean, it's still a 2/2 creature that, in something like Commander, I mean, it's got a shot. It's got a shot to deal some damage and add some counters. But the real interesting thing is the -5, so -5 loyalty counters, and you get to draw 2 cards. So I can see this card actually being really neat in a mono white or even a mono red deck. Mono red at least has dragons or something, so you have a good shot of pumping the Aetherspark high enough to actually be used. While mono white, I think, has enough synergies that you could actually sit there and make better use of it. The important part to that is being able to have all the card draw capabilities, because red and especially white, they hurt a lot for some card draw sometimes, especially in something like Commander where you're limited by just whatever your Commander identity is. Excuse me. So I could see where that could see some play in some monocolor decks. I don't think the other 3 colors are actually going to need this card that much for at least a card draw capability, but we'll see. And then it gets even worse than that. So you can -10 this bloody thing to add 10 mana of any one color. 10 of any one color. Like, zoinks? What? I mean, yeah, it could take a minute to get there, but I don't know. And this could get real ugly real quick. That's so cool. But The other thing to point about this is actually a serialized card. So if you haven't seen one of these before, they have over the past what is it, like a year, maybe year and a half. I don't think it's been two, but it might have been. Anyways, they started introducing serialized cards. So there's only 500 of these exact cards in the world. And if you open collector booster packs, you have a chance to pull X number of the 500. So I think it's kind of neat. It's cool to have something like that, but I also think it's kind of a money grab, if you will, from Wizards of the Coast. Granted, they are a company, but hey, is what it is. So apparently, like I said before, this is some kind of racing set, some kind of racing world. So you get to choose your team, choose your crew, and choose your ride. Aetherdrift invites players to join one of 10 unique racing teams, each with their own unbelievable ride, two-color gameplay style, and attitude on the racetrack. So we see a new Dreddy. I say new because he has been printed a couple of different times as an actual Planeswalker. This time, I'm guessing he has lost his Planeswalker Spark and is now just a Goblin Artificer. So he looks kind of neat sitting over here. We have a new Chandra, which is not much of a surprise. This seems like right up her alley kind of thing. And then we even get a new loot with some new abilities that hopefully, if we can find the actual preview page, we can look deeper into that. So let's kind of just keep going down here. You can click on these and they do something different. So you can choose your team, your crew, and your ride. You're in the driver's seat, all gas, no brakes, and hot cards. Coming on down, we see a preview of what the two commander deck boxes are going to be. They have a Eternal Might, which is a white, a blue, and a black, and Living Energy, which is a green, blue, and a red. So, kind of interesting. Both decks have blue. Well, I'm guessing one of them is obviously an energy-based deck, and the other one is going to be more of a zombie tribal kind of thing. Kind of interested to see the zombie deck more than the energy deck, just because I'm not really the biggest fan when it comes to energy decks or energies in general. I think there's cards in there that are fine. There's cards that do some really broken and dumb things. Just energy, I was never really a big fan of. But to see some white zombies might be intriguing. We also take a look at what our collector boosters and play boosters are going to look like. All of this can be found at local game stores, can be found at Walmart, Target, blah blah blah. To remember, your collector booster packs are going to run you probably $25 to $30 in US, and then your Aetherdrift play boosters are probably going to run you about $5 in US currency. Coming on down, we see our little bundle set here. I'm not really sure what the difference is between the two. I'm guessing this one gives you like an extra pack or like a collector's pack or something. So then that would mean that this one's going to be closer to like $50 US, and then this is probably going to be 75 or maybe even $100. I don't really care for the other one's die. I like the blue one better than this one. This one just looks like it's a little hard to read the numbers, but maybe that's just me. I also kind of wonder if maybe the special little promo alternate art foil card you get in these kind of products, these bundles. I wonder if they are actually a little different, or if they're the same card with different artwork. I haven't really seen much about these products being revealed, so that'd be kind of fun to find out. Looking over here to the far right, we see this is our pre-release kit. When you go to your local game store, you can pay your entry fee, and this is what you'll get. It is a box. It has a spend down life counter die, and it will get one of these 5 colors, kind of like the purple and the red. Kind of neat. You get a special. Now they actually have it in a really interesting package. Usually they're just kind of a clear package, but here's your pre-release promo card, which should also come with a code that you can enter on your arena account and get some free packs. And it comes with a handful of booster packs, and you'll make your deck from there. Scrolling down, we see some of the details about the set, including the story, some card previews. Um, we see like some more in person kind of things like the release dates. So your pre-release is going to be February 7th through the 13th. On Arena, it's February 11th. And Tabletop, we're going to be released on February 14th. So pretty neat, pretty neat. Let's go ahead and check out the commander decks while we're here and see what they're all about. Let's see how many of the actual cards from this are actually been spoiled. Do know that it may not reveal everything, and some of these cards may have a reprint, and when we hover over them, they're probably going to be the most current printing, so they may not have whatever artwork these are actually going to have. So first up, we have Saheeli, Radiant Creator. And she reads the following. Whenever you cast an artificer or an artifact spell, you get an energy. Then, at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 3 energy. When you do, create a token that's a copy of target permanent you control, except it's a 5/5 artifact creature in addition to its other types. And now it has haste. You have to sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. I could definitely see where this could go and be a very bananas kind of thing. When I first looked at it, I was like, man, I don't know, that's not that great. But then the more I thought about it, it was like, man, you could copy something like, I mean, Helm of the Host and just go nuts if you have a way to keep the token around. I mean, good lord. Well, no, I don't think that would I don't think that would work because it would trigger the legendary roll. But I mean, you could do like a food token. Just create a copy of a food token and just turn it sideways. And then if somebody goes to block it, I mean, it's no skin off your nose. You just pay some mana to sack and eat some life. Or you just let it go through and kill whatever's there if it's weak enough. So, I mean, that's pretty decent. Over on the other side, we'll see the backup commander because Saheeli is the what we call the face or the front commander. And this one is going to be Pia Nalar, the chief mechanic. So whenever one or more artifact creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, I get 2 energy. And then whenever, well, at the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1 or more energy. If you do, create an XX colorless vehicle artifact creature token named Nalar Aetherdrift with flying and crew too, where X is the amount of energy spent this way. So that could get kind of interesting. I don't know if she is as good as Saheeli, but we will see. So when you buy your commander deck here, your pre-con as we call them, what you're going to get is a ready-to-play 100-card commander deck with 1 traditional foil face commander with borderless art, and 1 traditional foil feature commander with borderless art. So in the description of that, here is your face, which is Saheeli, and your backup one, which is going to be Pia. You also get 10 double-sided tokens, 1 collector booster sample pack, which usually comes with 2 cards, and then like a random token insertion in there for like their websites or whatever. You get 1 reference card and 1 whole deck box. I think they left out that you should get a life counter in there too, unless they've stopped doing that. But most of the time they're coming with a life counter in them as well. Scrolling on down, we see what Eternal Might is going to be. Well, this is the one I have a lot of interest in. So we get Temet, Nakatunum's Will. I totally butchered that, but it's okay. So we have a zombie wizard. That is interesting. He's got Vigilance, Menace, and whenever you attack, draw a card, then discard a card. Whenever you draw a card, zombies you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Wow. Okay. Can already see a combo with that because there's a card that came out in one of the other commander sets not too long ago that it's from Murders of Karloff Manor if I'm not mistaken. It's a blue and white enchantment that whenever you draw cards, creatures you control get bigger. So I mean I could see some synergy with it. It might even be in there. And the backup commander is Hashton Scarab's First. First of all, I like the fact that he's a Orzhov zombie and a legendary one at that. So let's see what he does. Whenever you discard a creature card, you may pay 2 and a blue. If you do, create a tapped token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. Oh my goodness. That can get a little terrifying with the right cards. Yep. That seems a little horrifying. Okay, so we don't have um any actual deck list on them so far. So I'm guessing check back towards the end of what we're calling preview season, so within the next couple of weeks, and we should be able to uh, get eyes on the actual deck list. So what I did was I went down and I saw where it says where to find Aetherdrift previews. I'm not going to read up on all that. And we could click here to the card image gallery, which is really what I want to go see. So we got some vehicles here. We have Basri. Apparently he lost his spark as well. Let's see what Basri does. So for white and tap him, we can exert him and create a 1/1 white cat creature token with lifelink. We can also cycle him for 2 and a white. When you cycle this card, cats you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Okay, this will see some play in the cat tribal decks that are running around in standard. I can already see that. The exertion means he taps and he can't untap until after your next turn. So if you did it like now, then your next turn he still would be tapped. Just the turn after that he could be untapped. And cycling, if you've never seen it before, cycling is just a way to discard this card and draw a new card. So Basri is quite interesting. So this is the traditional borderless foil. This is the first place foil, whatever that actually is going to be. And here is the regular card that you'll get in like most of your booster packs. I don't know how you're going to get the first place ones. I don't know if there's going to be some in the play boosters. I imagine they're more of a collector's booster kind of thing. Oh well, this this bulwark ox is a little bit annoying. Don't like the first place foil artwork. Don't like that. Not a fan. I prefer the other one over here actually. I think this one's actually pretty cool. So it's a 2-drop. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. What makes it scary is you can sacrifice this creature. Creatures you control with counters on them gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Yep, that's gonna see quite a bit of play. That's scary, and as a 2-drop. What else we got here? Valor's Flagship. So it's a legendary vehicle, so that's interesting. Has flying, first strike, and lifelink. Crew 3. So in order to turn it, well, if you've never dealt with vehicles, vehicles are not creatures until they meet the requirements. In this case, you have to crew them, so you can tap any number of creatures as long as the total power is 3 or greater. And this would become a 7/7 flying first strike lifelinking creature. Otherwise, it's just an artifact sitting on the battlefield. So to cycle it, you pay X, 2, and a white. When you cycle this card, create X 1/1 white colorless pilot creature tokens with this token saddles, mounts, and crews vehicles as though it were power 2 or greater. Okay. Okay, that's pretty interesting. I don't really care for the artwork up there, and the basic artwork's alright. See what blue has to do here. Okay, I kind of like this whole Drifter artwork. That's pretty sweet. Looks like it's right out of a comic book. So we have, well, first of all, when this vehicle enters, draw 2 cards. That's pretty nice. But at 5 mana, kind of steep. So one of the first things we have here, other than that, is the Midnight Mangler. During turns other than yours, this vehicle is an artifact creature. Huh. Kind of odd. So that's kind of a blue thing, I'm guessing. Artifact, search your library for an artifact card, you get to 1 plus the sacrifice. Okay, so we have a not as abusable birthing pod for artifacts. Interesting. Apparently we didn't learn our lesson from that before. I'm not even going to try and say that first part of that name, but it's something verbose. So it's a homunculus, so that's kind of cool. You can make a homunculus deck, I guess, with him at the helm. So you have start your engines, which is a new mechanic. You have no maximum hand size, and then max speed. If you would draw a card, draw 2 cards instead. So to see what all that actually is, we scroll down here to the actual basic version of the card. The one you're most likely to pull out of a plate booster. So to start your engines, if you have no speed, it starts at 1. It increases once on each of your turns when an opponent loses life. You have a max speed of 4. So that's kind of interesting for a new mechanic. New artwork for Bloodghast, which is, I mean, that honestly kind of looks like the traditional old school Ratfink right there. I don't really know how I feel about the new artwork. I'm not really digging the new artwork, honestly. Give me back the original, please. I'm not feeling that. Crypt Collar Chariot is whenever you discard 1 or more cards, create that many 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. Okay, that's kind of neat. Now that's some pretty sweet artwork. I like that artwork. And what else we got? Lord of the Undead. It's a nice little special guest reprint. Quag Feast. Choose target creature, or planeswalker, or vehicle. Middle 2 cards. Heh. Convoluted, mill yourself, blow up something. We have another legendary vehicle in the Last Ride. Last Ride is -X, -X, where X is your life total. Pay 2 and a black, pay 2 life, draw a card, and crew 2 for a bloody 13/13. My god. We get Boommobile for red. When this vehicle enters, add 4 mana of any one color. Spend this mana only to activate abilities. Exhaust, another new mechanic. X2 and a red. This vehicle deals X damage to any target. Put a 1/1 counter on this vehicle. And you can activate Exhaust only once. Okay. Oh, nice. A reprint of Chandra's Ignition. I like the Chandra artwork on there. Ooh. We still got the turning of Fracture Foils. Nice. I like the Fracture Foils. They look pretty. So this is our new Chandra. The regular artwork's fine, but I really dig the almost anime style artwork that she has right here. I think it's really neat. So let's find out what she actually does. So at the beginning of combat on your turn, choose up to 1 target vehicle you control. Till end of turn, it becomes an artifact creature and it gains haste. Not bad. 4-drop, Planeswalker, who still has her spark from what we can see. And she'll come into play with 4 loyalty counters. You get +2 to, and you may sacrifice an artifact or discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Not bad. 0, make a 3/2 vehicle artifact creature token with crew 1. So she can make a body to kind of protect herself as long as you have something that can pilot this thing. Then her -7 is whenever you get an emblem with whenever an artifact you control enters, this emblem deals 3 damage to any target. Okay, that's going to get really dumb. In case if you've never heard or seen what an emblem actually is, it's just kind of like a it's kind of the same thing as like it's almost the same thing as like energies and some of the other abilities that are kind of odd and out there in Magic. So you can't do anything to an emblem. Like you can't proliferate it, you can't blow it up, you can't remove it. It's just there. They haven't printed anything to deal with emblems yet, not really. So they kind of need to start doing that. So let's check out our man Duretti here, the Rocketeer Engineer. Power is equal to the greatest mana value among artifacts you control. Okay, so that's kind of neat. Whenever he enters or attacks, choose 1 target artifact card from your graveyard. You may sack an artifact. If you do, return the chosen card to the battlefield. Okay. That's a bit interesting. Wow. Okay, so we can exhaust and create a 4/4 red dinosaur dragon creature token with flying. That's a thing, I guess. Excuse me. So then we have Hazoret. She's made her comeback after her long-awaited disappearance. She is a 2-drop indestructible hasting god. She's a 5/3. And then she has start your engines. So we read about that mechanic earlier. Pay 1, tap it. Target creature with power 2 or less cannot be blocked this turn. And of course, you cannot attack or block unless you have max speed. Kind of interesting there. So it looks like red in this set has quite the +1/+1 counter thing. Another big dumb dino for the dino lovers out there. This is Aganosaur. I butchered that. Yeah, Rex. So it is a 3 green 8/8 trampling with cycling dinosaur. Whenever you cycle this card, put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature or vehicle. It gains trample and indestructible until end of turn. What? Why the indestructible? Why? Why? What are we doing here? Thunderous Philippine. I'm not really going to go through like everything through here, just kind of anything that catches my eye. We have a new insect druid, so anybody that likes insects, we can do something with that. We get a couple of new Gear Hulks. So this one, whenever this creature enters, you may search your library for up to 2 artifact, creature, and or enchantment cards with mana value 1 or less. Reveal them, put them in your hand, and shuffle. That'll probably see some commander play. Bright Glass Gear Hulk. Okay, what you got? So Captain Howler Sea Scourge. We have a Shark Pirate. Ward 2, pay 2 life. Man, whenever you discard 1 or more cards, target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn for each card discarded this way. Whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player, pardon me, you get to draw a card. Okay, not bad. I think it's kind of interesting. We have a human knight riding some kind of bird creature thing. But has kind of like a branching evolution kind of thing to it. If you put one or more, whenever you put one or more 1/1 counters on a creature or vehicle you control, put that many +1. Entries, you may search your library for a library for a mount or vehicle card. Reveal, put your hand, then shuffle. I'm sure it's gonna be fine. Doesn't really catch my interest per se, but it looks fine. So then, of course, Rakdos is Rakdos. Would deal damage to an opponent or opponent controls. Deals that much damage +1. Not really too impressive there. Just my whole 2 cents there. Do we know about the Scarab Gods first? Loot. Loot is another one we could get in a Fractured Foil so far. So let's go down and find out what Loot's all about. Wow, his showcase looks pretty cool too. He's got some pretty good little alternate arts there actually. So he has Double Strike, Vigilance, and Haste. Okay, well let's see their actual cards so we can read more about Exhaust. So Exhaust, pay a green, tap him, add 3 mana of any one color. So we can only use each Exhaust ability once. And then we could pay a blue, tap it, draw 3 cards, pay a red, tap it, deal 3 damage to any target. Not bad. Not bad. I mean, I think it's kind of interesting. That little core guy is pretty interesting. Here's another Gear Hulk. This one is Demir. Lifelink Ward 1. Okay. When this creature enters, look at target player's hand. You may choose a card from it. If you do, that player discards that card and then draws a card. That's not that good. Not to me, at least. Here's the red-green Gear Hulk. So it has Vigilance and Menace, and is a 7/7. When the creature enters, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain Vigilance and Menace until end of turn. Damage can't be prevented this turn. Now, see that one seems a little powerful right there in my opinion. But you know, maybe that's just me. We have another Gruul legendary goblin that you can add X mana of any one color, where X is this creature's power. Spend this mana only to activate abilities. Huh. And then you could tap 10 red-green to put any number of permanent cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Okay, okay. I mean, I don't really know how well that's going to work. We have some more returning gods from Amonkhet. I'm not really going to go over a whole lot of them unless they actually catch my interest. Luxa, embodied here, has reach, trample, indestructible, can't attack or block unless it has an even number of counters on it. At the beginning of your first main phase, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Then, if it has an odd number of counters on it, draw 2 cards. So that's not horrible. If you could find a way to manipulate the counters on it, you can do some funny shenanigans, move them around. Sita, Varna, Master Racer. Winter apparently is here. His ability doesn't look all that great. I've already read about him. So this is another zombie cat warrior. Interesting. So sacrifice another creature, surveil 1, activate only once each turn, max speed. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, make a 2/2 tap zombie creature token. Okay, not bad. Not bad. This is one of the big ones. They have included Chrome Mox into the set as a special guest. So this will probably be flying off the shelves because they did this with Metacrypt and it was an absolute smash. Lifecraft engine. As this vehicle enters, choose a creature type. Vehicle creatures you control are the chosen creature type in addition to their other types. Each creature you control of the chosen type other than this vehicle gets +1/+1. Okay. Yeah, interesting, I guess. Here's the other printings for the Aether Spark if there's any kind of interest there. And then we have a whole bunch of land that do quite a few different things. I'm guessing these are ways to do some other things here. So discard, draw, target creature gains haste. What else we have here? We're continuing the Verge cycle, so that's nice. We have some basics here. Oh, that's pretty cool. So, if you have max speed, this becomes a soul land, so that's interesting. What we mean by soul land is it's kind of like having a soul ring, because instead of tapping for 1 mana, it taps for 2. Tapped has an choose a color. Okay, it has cycling, so that's not bad. Continuing on, what else do we have here? More of the Verge lands. The gold bordered basics are definitely interesting. That's going to take some getting used to anybody that has them in there. Kind of like just the extended arts versus the gold border first place foils. But maybe the foiling looks really sweet on them. I don't know. That's pretty much it that we have for the Aetherdrift set. As far as our current previews that are available to us right now. What do I think about the set? I think the set's interesting. I think that we have some interesting mechanics. I'm interested to see what to do with the commander decks, because I think those have a lot of potential as well. And we'll kind of touch tabs on it as more and more stuff gets released. I'll make some more videos and kind of give my thoughts about everything. I'm not really sure how it's going to interact with the rest of the sets that are legal and standard, but we really haven't seen enough of the cards to actually make any kind of judgment call on that. So we'll kind of have to look and see how everything falls at this point. As far as like Commander's Day, I'm just waiting to see what's being reprinted in these. Thankfully, only 2 Commander decks. I can handle when it's just 2. When it's like 4 Commander decks that are coming out with each set, that's a bit much, especially like the 2 hottest ones from Bloomborough. Good luck finding them at a decent price. The Squirrel deck and the Gruul Enchantment deck. They sold like hotcakes for good reason. They are very good, very powerful decks. Are they worth paying a ridiculous amount of money for? Nope. Absolutely not. But here we are. So I think that with that, I'll bring this video to a close. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the Aetherdrift and some predictions you might have about the set. Do you think the set's good? Do you think the set's bad? Or is there anything you're hoping to see reprinted, maybe as a special guest to help lower some kind of really expensive reprint back down to a reasonable price? Or just something you hope has a new artwork? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. And always remember, rub that belly for mana, and may your draws be nothing but luck.